Hello and welcome back to the channel, Bringing the Blues. We have got Luke joining us shortly. I'm going to add him in. Just want to give a little bit of an introduction. Thank you for waiting. We had a little bit of a later start, just some technical things, trying to get it right for everyone. Hopefully everyone's feeling good after that Newcastle result. But what I'm going to do is I'll start by coming over to my friend Patrick. Obviously, you may have seen Patrick on other channels. Obviously, he's obviously quite well versed in everything City and sharing his views. So, Patrick, it's good to meet you, mate. If you just want to give us a bit of a backstory, a bit of a background into yourself, how you started following City, and who your favourite player was. Well, who your favourite player is or was.
About it. I started as a troll. I troll in my family, my own family. They are all United fans, and I hated them. I despised them because every Christmas we all have to sit there and watch it anyway. I used to go outside and do other things, but they were making sure you were there to watch it. They tried a few times to get me on board. You know, where when you're young, they force you with the jersey. They're like, "Wear this jersey, your brother wears this jersey. Take pictures." I think I said no. I was like, "I don't want that. I don't like football." I think that's what I used to say. I don't like football. Then my mom tried with Arsenal because she's an Arsenal fan, very hardcore Arsenal fan. She attends every game. I think when she gets the opportunity, her and my uncle tried with Arsenal. They failed. Then my uncle decided, you know what, maybe let me bring him over to Liverpool, and they failed. Then the whole City thing started as I said, being a troll, saying, you know what, giving a finger to my family. When my auntie was in England, and I remember she was like, so you don't like football? And I was like, no, I just don't like that football club. Every time we want to watch a movie, they put that football. You know, like when you want to watch a movie, I used to have videotapes. I used to like movies. I have videotapes. You can't watch it. You have to wait for them to finish the match, and then they'll tell you to go to bed. You have school tomorrow. That means you can't watch the match at all. So that was my distaste. Then I think my auntie was in England, and she was like, "Well, there's a shitty side of Manchester." That's what she said. They hate the Manchester United fans hate them, but they're very bad. When I'm sending a jersey for your brother, do you want me to send you a jersey for that? And I was like, no, but I don't care about football. She's like, well, I have to send you something. What else? I already sent you a few things. Like, yeah, just send it. And she sent the Thomas Cook one. And
Yeah.
I remember I used to purposely wear it and sit in front of the TV with all the family, and they would actually hate me and say, get that shit off. And my dad used to be disappointed, saying, one day you're going to grow up and you'll be embarrassed because Man United will never die. Man United are the team,
Yeah.
which is quite funny because every time I tell people about these stories, I watched my family members embedded into that because Man United was winning. Then I watched my friends at school jump on the Man United wagon with the jerseys because United was winning. Basically, it just goes to show that sometimes when they're saying things to City fans, saying, "Oh, some City fans are plastic," I'm like, but I watched some of you at the same age as me jumping on the wagon because David Beckham is there, just because Giggs is there, all these
Yeah.
guys. So after that, I was just doing a troll thing. Then I think I went to England with my mom, and back again, I was into video games, not really much. City would come on. I couldn't really watch it. And then I remember when, is it Stephen Island? I
Yeah.
used to just get obsessed with him. And I was
Superman.
like, yeah, I was like, man, I like this player. Then I started playing football because I used to play football a bit in high school. No, when in lower school. Then I started playing football. Then I got his jersey. And that time I was just saying, you know what, let me do it, this thing. And then my uncle was like, you know what, Patrick? It's quite simple that God has a plan for you because that shitty team of yours is there's rumors that it's going to be bought by somebody. So now you can wipe it in your father's face that you will be also a rich club and everything. And I was like, no way. And he was like, yeah, it's like you will be a rich club. And I remember all that was happening. And I remember my dad was like, it doesn't matter how much money you guys spend, you will never be as good as we are. Then that's how it started. And it just gone on, supporting Stephen Island and throwing a few players. And I just, from being a troll, I sat there every time City just had a glimpse of a fight against United. I was there cheering. Just when I went back home again, cheering. And then some of the results started going. I was like, you know what? I'm here now in this bandwagon. I'm stuck. This is me now. Then we started buying more people. Then I remember I was in Tanzania, and then that's when we spanked them. I think so, with the Vincent Company goal, and then I was there laughing at the whole family. I think I did a sort of call, put them on loudspeaker, saying, "Remember, you said this whatever amount." He's like, "No, this is a one-time thing. It never happened." Then we keep going,
Yeah.
and that's it. It just ended with City, and now it's quite funny that my daughter, I think she's a City fan. Unfortunately, my son loved Ronaldo so much he followed Ronaldo to United, but that's his choice. Now he's stuck with a shitty United team. So it's me laughing at him now, saying, "Look at that, you're stuck." So that's how it started, being as a troll. But I had the opportunity multiple times. I can't lie, because I was taken to Old Trafford by my uncle. That's how it is in my family. Like they were so. I was taken to Old Trafford. I was taken to an Arsenal game by my mom and uncle. Like they wanted you to choose a path.
Yeah.
To choose a path. I think I was this close to be taken to a Liverpool game by my other uncle. So they wanted to make sure all the kids, they kept on grabbing kids. They were like, okay, my brother's son, I can take my brother's son, this. So all said and done, I refused all those teams. So maybe it was destiny. My mom says it's quite funny that the amount of times I offered to buy an Arsenal jersey and you said no, even though I like Patrick Vieira as a player,
Yeah.
I like, and I still refused the Patrick Vieira jersey. And I remember when they bought a jersey for my brother, they bought him one for gigs, the sharp one.
Yeah.
And they're like, do you want the Beckham one? He's popular. I was like, no, I'm good. I was like, I'm good.
Yeah.
So here we are now, City fan, years and years, starting from Metro, told that City will never amount to anything, and now it's me who laughs at them. Obviously, at this point in time, we're both in the mud this season. So me and my brother have been comforting each other on the football group. I keep saying Manchester clubs are friends now, and he can't do anything now. So because he was laughing at me at first, and now he's joined and now he's worse. I was like, we are here together. So that's how I got here, and here we are.
I think that's the one thing that's kept me going this season. This sounds really bitter, but I couldn't care less. The one thing that's kept me going this season is we've had a really bad season, but when you look at the results that they're pulling in consistently, it does make you feel a lot better, because you think, actually, we're not that bad. We're not as bad as everyone probably thinks.
Spurs the same, isn't it? Spurs are also. I didn't know Spurs were that horrible. That's their first win after 15 games, or how many games? I don't know how many games at home. How many games at home? That's their first win in a long time. So apart from that, okay. So now let me just introduce myself on the current state. I just do a channel, YouTube channel. Started a YouTube channel also to troll people. So I love to troll. So I started a YouTube channel just to be a troll. Ended up stuck with it and saying, okay, now maybe I have to be serious. So because I used to watch a lot of YouTubers. I remember I used to support Esteemed Company when he was, is it Blue Moon Rising? I think I used to watch a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember, I think I was one of his subscribers, one of his first subscribers on the Esteemed Company. I remember when he was making up the name. So I used to watch a lot of that. And your man JCSG, I forgot his name. Also, I used to like watching him. Yeah, but I used to get very annoyed because sometimes when people are doing streams, you're like, why come City fans never do streams with other people? Because back in the days, City fans we used to be, they didn't used to not feature a lot. They used to be so independent. So I'll be like, how come we don't have anybody in this panel? So I started reaching out to people, and people are like, well, we've been looking for somebody who's willing to speak on behalf of City on these panels. That's how I started with panels.
Yeah.
And I started with Ray from City Fan TV. Then boom, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just start my own and just be free, because some of the channels, they used to tell you don't go this way, go this. Back in the days, it was that serious. They used to do a pre 5 minutes saying you can't do this, you can't say this, you can't do that. I have sponsors, you can't do this. So I just said, if I can, I'll do my own, and I can just go wherever I want and not be tied down to anything. So this is how we are. Yeah, True City Fan, another thing to throw people on, and it's still boys piss to the date of today. You can also see on Twitter, which is great.
Yeah. No, I think that's fantastic. Coming back to, I suppose, your start with City, I think anyone over a certain age can sympathise. I remember being in school. You got it so bad in school. Why are you a City fan? This is back when we were just, well, a lot worse than we are now. But let's put it that way. I remember the infamous 8-1 game against Middlesbrough, and again it was like, why are you following this team? I was like, well, because I follow them. You know, my dad's a City fan. I'm a City fan, and I feel like we've been vindicated now. A lot of us have been vindicated. You know, when that buyout came, and again, like you said, you know, I used to hear it all the time. You know, money's not going to, money's not going to change anything. We're still the biggest club in Manchester, and it turns out it can do a lot. Actually, who knew? It's done wonders for us, hasn't it? With the right people in charge. But Bowie, you know a thing or two, don't you? Because I'm pretty sure your dad's is a red, isn't he? Oh, I think are you muted?
It's on
Mate?
mute.
Yeah.
It's on mute.
There we go.
Yeah, I think.
There you go.
Can you hear me now, mate?
Yeah. You're on.
Yeah. My dad is a red. But like I said, the last video I brought up, I got brought up a stone throw away from Main Road, and at the time my uncle was living with us, so my dad was taking me to Old Trafford, and my uncle was taking to Main Road, and I just chose City. I just fell in love with City. But yeah, we've seen it all, the good and the bad. It's just great being a blue, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is good. So we'll jump in. Well, I want to do a little bit of a recap around Newcastle. I didn't manage to actually get a video out, which was frustrating. I was at the game. I ended up getting back from town really late. I was celebrating. Let's put it that way. I'd love to know from you guys, what were your thoughts going into that game, because I don't think many people were would have said 4-0. I mean, I said 2-0 prior to the game, but yeah, what an opening start. So, what's your overall thoughts on I suppose that game?
Who wants to go first?
I don't know. You go first. You go first.
Okay.
Take the lead, mate.
Yeah, I was really impressed. I think going forward, I was really impressed. For the first time this season, I think I saw a fluidity in the attack. It's been a bit stagnant, stop-start games recently, but watching Vino, Marmoush, Haaland, Foden together in attack, it was brilliant to watch. Now, I know Newcastle weren't that great themselves. Newcastle are a very good team that deserve a lot of respect for the season. I'll be beating Arsenal, doing among a certain team. So the fact that we beat them 4-0 shows for me that we have got potential in this team to really kick on and make a great team going forward. I think this season's a hard one to really judge because obviously Champions League's still not obviously yet until Wednesday if we go through or not go through. FA Cup's still there as well. So the season's not done for us yet. Still a lot more to sort of achieve for the end of the season. But I saw a team there with a lot of fight and a lot of hunger, and Pep played the right team. He put PM straight away, much better. Midfield a lot more solid as a foundation. They're good. One had that bit of protection behind him. It felt like I was watching a team last season with Rodri, just someone sitting there to do all dirty work, and we just got on with it going forward. It's been a long time since we actually had a team like that doing that kind of level of play, and obviously Wednesday will be a whole different game. But in terms of Tuesday, in terms of Saturday, I absolutely loved what I saw, and yeah, honestly, brilliant performance. Kusanov, Nico, Marmoush, hat-trick, brilliant performance overall.
Yeah, and that is quite go ahead.
No, go on.
Yeah, I was about to say that is like what I don't know. It's frustrating that the fact that everybody who was new in that team, let's say like people who are new, and it's been like this for the past few weeks where Savinho has been one of the best players on the pitch, and he's never obviously won the Premier League, and he's never been in this team before. I was like, it's surprising, but yet if you think about it, it's not surprising that everyone who's just joined the team seems to be more hungry. Then it also shows that what most of the fans have been saying, because some fans think you're being negative or you're not supporting the team, but some things have been so obvious this season that some of these players have been here for so long. And if you've played football before, there's moments where you're undroppable as a player. When you're undroppable, it's the worst thing. Like, you know that I'm not going to get dropped. That manager loves me. So in that way, you know, if I do this performance, I can choose when to perform or not. We're talking about players in this team where they know that even if they do anything, Pep Guardiola thinks that, oh, you know what, this is the guy who's going to rescue us from this particular situation. But it's not like that anymore. if you point out in that game, you're gonna point out Kusanov, you point out Nico, you point out Savinho. Looking at all these three, then you point out Omar. These are four people that I knew. And why are they working this extra hard? Because they've never won anything. And I think that's what was missing. And the Newcastle game, regardless, even it shows you put somebody like Gundo, who people have been saying his legs are finished, which is true. He still looked good because he had people who are putting effort. He had people who are making runs. Like, look at Nico. He was coaching the defenders. He was coaching Don Stones where to stand. He was coaching Haaland where to stand. And I think it just gave something new to the team. And this is what all the fans have been crying for. Nobody has been trying to be negative or hate on other players. The other players have done their part. And you can see it in their eyes that some of these players are like, you know what? I have won everything. Do I really have to go that mile? And also the mental fatigue. So I'm happy. And I hope he continues because there's something just telling me at the back of my head that come Wednesday, we will see De Bruyne again. He'll be cover in that midfield. Something's just telling me that he will ignore the fact that this new guys brought a new life in this team and just go back to what he has. But that's what I wanted to say anyway.
Yeah, I think that would be it would be classic Pep. Seen it loads, haven't we? A player has a fantastic performance, probably a player who again's not had many games, and then they're benched. I remember recently. I know obviously McAtee had a couple of games prior to this one where he wasn't as effective, but he had a two game spell where he was brilliant. And I think it was at Fulham or Leicester, one of the two, I can't remember. He ended up scoring the winning goal, and I was so sure after that because we were so poor going forward at that point. We just weren't creating anything. I was so sure he's going to bring McAtee in. He's on really good form, and then the team news comes out and he's on the bench. So it wouldn't surprise me. I wouldn't want to see Gundogan and Kovacic start. I wouldn't mind Kovacic. It's just. For me, regardless if Nico's there, I wouldn't be playing Gundogan. That's me personally. Tabo, did you go to the Newcastle game?
Yeah.
Yeah. What were your thoughts? Because I know again you're a season ticket holder. You go every week.
Yeah.
What was different in that game?
Bernardo Silva wasn't in the team. Simple as that.
Really?
As much as he's been good recently. Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
But then, as Patrick said, you're gonna start on Wednesday. Just wait. But great performance. I think that's our best home performance since Real Madrid in the treble season. Honestly, I think we were superb. The defense was good. Bear in mind, we played against a really good team in good form. So I was very, very happy with that. I think Lee said it. The team was right. Which is important. When I got to the ground, I said to myself, this is the right team. And we'll just see how much changes they will make for Wednesday. So it's all down to Pep.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the team, obviously, we put the right team out in the end, and hindsight, they say it's a wonderful thing. I think it laid bare what the problems were. I think, like Patrick mentioned a little earlier on, I think there's a lot of players in that team who were drifting through games, whether it was mental fatigue, physical fatigue, and obviously there's a lot of games. But I think the problem is when you don't refresh, when you don't bring in new faces, some of that hunger and some of that drive goes. We talk about Bernardo Silva, and I've mentioned it. For me, the biggest problem with Bernardo Silva is he's so integral to how we play in that style. He's one of the players that is... It's very rare that he's dropped, especially in those big games. But actually, we need constant. We need to be pushing the players. That we can't have positions where that position is locked down. And we've still got that problem right now. I would say, in not having a proper right back in the team. I know we're using Kusanov and we still got Rico, but that's another issue. So I think the new players have definitely helped because again they've not won anything. They've got something to prove. And I think Kusanov was the embodiment of that for me. I think what a performance off the back of that Chelsea, start to recover, and he put in some absolutely unreal challenges. So I think he was probably obviously Marmish got the hat trick. I think we all knew what Marmish was about, but Kusanov was one of them where we had an idea, but I think we've started to see it now, which is good. We've got a question here from Rusty in the chat. Has Man City's dominance shifted the Premier League from fluctuating champions, United, Arsenal, Chelsea, to an era where financial or tactical superiority creates an insurmountable gap? Oh, big words in there. Creates an insurmountable gap. Insurmountable, it isn't it?
I'd say yeah. I mean, if we think back to Premier League in the early 2000s, right, the points that they were getting, like 75, 80 points at most, and it was like very minuscule point, like 7 or 8 losses for the winning team. Obviously won the league anyway. Now, like obviously not this year necessarily, but previous years with Liverpool and Arsenal pushed towards late 80 points, 90 points to win league titles. Because like we literally, like Pep's pushed levels so high now, where others have got to push themselves even further to even compete with us. Obviously, this year not so much. No, the teams of previous years. But when we were on it, we made the league so difficult because every draw felt like a loss.
Yeah,
if the draw is 1 point, but it feels like a loss two, and that's where the mentality and the level has gone up. I mean, for me in the league, went up so high where it became so competitive. Whereas this season's been a bit hit and miss this year. Not. I mean, it's been quite a poor. I mean, the Liverpool this year have been good, but I would say they've been like incredible. They've been better than Arsenal, but then they've been just about good enough to get the points they need to get over the line. Whereas in previous years, if they're against us, who are really, really good, you see a much better Liverpool team playing to try and be as good as we are. So yeah, I think it's definitely a real change. I think a real sort of turnover.
Yeah, no, just to add to that as well, I think it's one that I think that there's this myth, isn't there, in football, and I think it is because it is starting to fall apart now, of where the highest spending team will win all the trophies and they'll win the league, and that's just not the case. I know we spent a lot in January, but actually over the last 2-3 years we've been pretty good. Well, I say pretty good. It's obviously led us to this season, really, but if we're just being honest, we're talking facts. You look at a team like Manchester United, who've spent they spent 2 billion, close to 2 billion, over 2 billion, and the 15th in the league, last I checked. It's not all about how much money you have and how much money you can spend. It's having the right scouts, it's having the right recruitment, it's bringing players in that actually fit the team, the team dynamics, the personalities, and that's why if you don't think about those things, you get players like Sancho going to Chelsea, and obviously how that's going now. Anthony, who funnily enough is now bagging at his new club, but it didn't work at United. So it's not just about spending 200 million a season. It's not that simple. It's getting the right players in. I think a lot of people in January laughed at us, signing nobodies. Vitor Reis, Kusanov, very unknown, especially Kusanov. Generally speaking, he wasn't a massive name, but again, he looks like he's going to be the part. So yeah, it's not all about how much money you spend, Rusty. I think it's about what you do with that money. But no, I don't think it's insurmountable. If you look at how Nottingham Forest are doing this season, obviously, Brighton are having a little bit of a dip, but last kind of 4 or 5 years, Brighton have also really pushed some of the top teams there for like the top 6 spots. That's what they've been pushing for. So it's not impossible, but I think money certainly helps. But good question.
Yeah, but have you also noticed something this season? Like, let's say, for instance, Forest were buying very fast physical players. Like, most of them are not very technical. Yes, they are skilled, but they are very fast and physical. And if you've noticed this season, teams that have caused City trouble and caused Brighton trouble, or teams that, like Wolves went for technical players. If you've noticed, other clubs wanted to follow City, so they went for technical players or players who are not that physical. Just notice this season, looking at the table, the more physical midfielders or teams that have got more physical players, that teams are actually doing better this season. While you look at Southampton, they also wanted to go the technical route, passing from the back. Let's go get what's that guy, that keeper? I forgot his name. They got from Arsenal.
Ramsdale.
Ramsdale. You see, this is why I've noticed that Pep Guardiola, when he got Rodri, remember he said, I want physicality in that middle. I just want somebody physical who's able to win the ball and rotate the ball. So I see that City, unfortunately, as I told somebody, I was like, Rodri missing is actually a big issue, and a DM missing from a City team is an issue because what Pep does is he puts technical 5-foot short players around a big guy like Busquets, the same way he did with Busquets, and then says, you know what, we can hold the ball. This guy sometimes can get physical and help these other players that are not that physical. Now this season, he was trying to make a 5-foot cover, like I don't know how tall cover is, but very lean, small guys do the physical work, and that's when we're just being bullied. Like most of the games this season, we've lost because of being bullied. Like look at Brighton, we almost slapped Brighton, but what happened? They went and got one of their DMs who's very physical from the bench. As soon as he came on, he bullied our midfield, and we were done. And Forest, I was shocked that we beat Forest. That was my biggest shock because I thought Forest were gonna bully us and slap us, but somehow I think Forest were too cocky. They went too forward. They went too thing. But I think if Forest used their more physical side, I think they were going to cause us trouble. So it's quite funny that things are changing. And I think Man City, you can see Kusanov, they went for somebody physical. Then they went to Victor, who's not very physical yet technical. I think this team, City, need to also start looking at very physical players, but I doubt it with the Pep because Pep loves his technical players. And as long as he's here, we will see people the height of Rico in this team. Like next, you see it's Verse, but Verse is just talented, too talented and too good to be kicked off the ball. I don't know if you guys think the same, that this season, the more physical sides seem to have done better. Like look at Bournemouth. They just have runners and speed and physicality. That's all they have, yeah.
Well, I think there's got to be something there, hasn't there? Because again, you know, you look at those teams, you know, like Forest especially. I mean, it's incredible. I think it's also obviously helped that Wood has, you know, almost turned into prime Edin Dzeko, hasn't he, this season? Little shot. I loved Edin Dzeko, so yeah, I had to get a name drop in there. What a player! No, but I agree with you. I think physicality is a big thing, you know, and that's why I like Kusanov so much because we've lost that. We lost that bite. I think we lost that bite, especially at the back. You know, and this season it's really helped because we've not been able to play out from the back as well this season. So I think having someone like Kusanov in where we can adds that new dimension. So we got something in the chat here. Is there any chance we could get a collective rendition of Blue Moon for the new intro? I wouldn't even want to. I would butcher that. Bowie might. I'll tell you what, Rusty, if you want, mate, we'll get you on the net. I'll get you on and you can do the intro if you want. We'll record you and put it on. How's that? We've got another question, which is actually a good segue into talking about Madrid now. Lopez Masampo, how would you guys want Pep to approach the game against Madrid?
Ooh.
Attack.
Yeah.
Like, firstly, even at 2-1 last week, I said to myself, we still need another one. Because at the Bernabéu, anything can happen. Like, anything. So, but he won't. That's the thing. As much as Pep is the greatest manager of all time, I don't think he will do what he should. But he just needs to go for it. Like, I'd rather go for it and lose than be cautious and then go for it in the end and then we just knocked out.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see, man.
This is the worst kind of game to go full control because what you controlling exactly, you're a goal down. And yes, it should have been a quick start. And we went a little bit, started off decently, then went a bit slow, then got a goal, then went slow again. We need a team that's going to like on Saturday, go for it from the start. Even if you lose the game, fair enough. At least go out some fight. I'm going to say at least go out there, get some goals, and because you never know with Madrid, right? Really, if I look at them, they're not good at all, really. But I've got Mbappe and Vinicius up front. We've got good attackers, but overall team not the best. I mean,
didn't they draw 1-1 at weekend?
But obviously
Bellingham was sent off, was it? So we're going into that game 4-0. We battered Newcastle. We're going to be well for this. Whereas Real Madrid, they're not going to be. I don't think they'll be very, very confident going in off the back of that 1-1 at weekend. So I think you're right on what you're saying there, Luke, mate. Just go for it. You've got nothing to lose. If you grab an early goal, mate, you never know what might happen.
As I said to Patrick, do not play the OAP midfield. Do not play, otherwise I'm turning it off. Because Pep, I love him. I love you. I love Pep loads, but he has got to go with that midfield on Saturday. Gundo, Cover, whoever want to go over there, but Marmoush and Nico must play.
Yeah, 100%.
They must play that game.
100%.
Yeah, I agree.
100%.
He's been stinking though. Like you know. This is why. Like this is why, as I was telling people, that this is why I just decided to open my own channel, because I saw that there's a lot of what's the word, catering for people. People cater for people to make people happy. Like, oh, let me make people happy or the fan base happy. But sometimes it's good to call out these things. I think Luke, this is why I respect Luke. When you watch him on his channel, Luke would just say what he feels. He would just say straightforward. Like this season, I understand, like Pep Guardiola has got family issues, and we all respect that. Yeah. But I don't think anybody who owns a show like this wants to sit down talking about his family issues. Like I'm a football fan. That's his business. If the club saw that he's not in the right mindset, the club could have said, maybe step down for a while, and then your assistant will look after this as you sort out your business. But he's here as a manager, so I'm just judging him based on what's happening. But he hasn't handled some of the things proper this season, and that's what obviously sometimes has broken my heart, because I'm like, oh my God, this goes to the narrative where people say this man maybe cannot handle a situation when things are difficult. But as I say, it's unfair because things are gone bad. Even his daughter wrote a message and said, Dad, you are the best. So you can see it's more mental. This is what I told my brother, because he was making obviously fun, saying, oh, this. I was like, I think the thing about this City team, the captain is not the 5 captains. The captain is Pep, and he pretends to give these 5 players power to say they're captains. I think he is the guy in charge. Now, if you talk about the guy in charge being in a very bad emotional state and not at his best, I don't think Pep is ruthless as before. You can see there's a bit of softness now, I think a bit of a timid Pep. Like, he will sit on the bench this time and just sit there and just watch things. Back in the days, he'll be shouting. Back in the days, he'll sub you out, or you hear from the players that you want to see that player again in the next game. This season, how many people have messed up and you see them in the next game?
Oh God, yeah.
That was not Pep. Pep would play kids. Remember, he played the kids. He played Rico because Walker was messing up, and he played Rico because John Stones was messing up as he was given a chance at right back. That's what I'm saying. It's just been, I think, a lot of things. And what I'm looking for on Wednesday is for him not to go with emotion, because I understand he said some players I owe them something. I'm pretty sure he's talking about Akanji, Rico, and the guys who played. But Bernardo Silva, this guy loves Bernardo Silva. And I remember somebody reminded me on my show that don't forget, the players in the documentary said if they have something, if they want a day off or want a favor, they send Bernardo, because Pep never says no to Bernardo. That's when I was like, oh my God, I think you're right. I think you said this, that if he subbed him, Bernardo Silva is starting. If Bernardo Silva doesn't start in that midfield, he's either starting as a winger, as a false 9, as a left back. He'll find the place. He's starting. And looking at that team that played, yes, maybe put him next to Nico, but I'm thinking in my head, why don't you put Kovacic next to Nico? In this way, you tell Kovacic, you don't have to be a number 6 today. You're going to carry the ball. And I think that's what Kovacic is good at. And then you tell KDB, oh, today I don't want you to defend. You just stay in between the defense and midfield, and you just cause trouble. Go wherever you want. Remember the classic KDB, where when there's a CDM, he's taught to just go wherever he wants. We haven't seen that because KDB has been asked to track back. But all I'm seeing in my head is, by shoehorning Bernardo Silva in this team, first of all, my friend Bernardo Silva hasn't created since he left Monaco. I don't know what happened to him. In Monaco, he was the creator. He was that David Silva. That's why we were all excited. Bernardo Silva doesn't want to score anymore. He was in a position to score the other game. Guess what he decided? He stopped and gave the ball to somebody else. He just seems like he just wants to run. I get it. But now talking about Madrid, I was very disappointed with the game on Tuesday because we failed to slap Madrid with Tchouaméni, a centre-back who's just 23 years old, who has no experience. And then Valverde, yes, Valverde is a superstar. No matter where you play him, apparently he can do the job. But Tchouaméni didn't sweat at all. We didn't give him any issue. And I was thinking to myself, what if Mamouche was in that game? So when Haaland, that new centre-back who was on Haaland's back fighting with him, Mamouche could have been busy saying, you know what? I'll take the opportunity that you're busy with Haaland. I will go straight at your menu. I think we could have caused more trouble.
Yeah.
This is why I told somebody, I was like, if Doku was fit and you told Doku that just keep going at Mende, because people are complaining that Mende makes a lot of mistakes. Keep going at your menus. Tuck in and go at your menu. We didn't have the opportunity. Instead, at home, we went like cowards. We were like, no, we're just going to keep the ball. I think we should have gone for a basketball game. And somebody was telling me that a Madrid fan was like, if you went for a basketball game, I think you guys were going to come out with a bigger scoreline than ours.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
That Madrid performance, that Madrid team, okay, I mean, we flattered them in the end. I think that was the most
Yeah.
frustrating thing because that was not a good Madrid performance, okay?
No.
It was bad.
The game was defined by the mistakes. As well, the second half of the season, it's the same story, right? If the City from even last year, and I don't think we were as good last year either, as obviously.
Oh, we're not. But
listen, if the treble winning team, okay, if that form had gone into that game, that could have been a proper hiding, hiding.
Yeah.
Because I agree with you. You know, when we got into the positions, the problem this season as well, you know, it's not going forward. We've been okay. We've been all right. Obviously, it's the midfield. It's the defense. And it's frustrating. It's so frustrating because if we'd have played that team that started Newcastle, I think we would have won that game, and we could have been, you know, going into this game 3-1. You know, kind of, you know, the leg almost tied up, but you know, we didn't play the right team, and so we're going in 1-0 down.
Can I ask you a question though? Before I forget, can I ask you a question? What's with this thing? Maybe even the panel can answer. What's with like, I get it that in football, even in sports, when you're confident, so you've been knocked out as a boxer. We even talk about Deontay Wilder, who used to smack people in a few seconds. Once he got knocked out, his power is gone. Do you think that, like, these mistakes, like, look at the mistake made by Edison. Look at the mistake made by Kovacic. Like, back in the days, even Bernardo Silva, I saw him in that Madrid game hoof it in the front. Why he had the same situation with like Kovacic. Why are these making these schoolboy? Because the mistakes that City are making, somebody has a whole video on Twitter. I don't know if you guys have seen. Every game we've lost in the Champions League, we gifted somebody a goal, and we make schoolboy mistakes. Do you think it's just the fact that confidence is gone, or these players are doubting themselves that we're no longer unbeatable? I don't get it, because some of the mistakes are just too schoolboy, you know, like too low level. They're not supposed to be happening with a team like this.
Well, the thing for me, right, if you watch back the second goal, right, when Ederson passed the ball for no reason into the middle of the pitch to Bellingham, something like that for me was like, that's not an error, that's just you being stupid. Because I'm sorry, right, Ederson should know at that point, if you need to move up the ball to Haaland, do it, because you can do it, he has the ability to do it. A lot of common sense in this team's gone. Arsenal, for example, common sense out the window. Akanji, Stones, miscommunication. It's like everyone's overthinking. Right, I think everyone's overthinking it at the moment. Like Newcastle, it wasn't that at all. Everyone went, right, get on it, get the ball, go for it. No think about it. And it's like we're thinking too much now about what we've got to do. And when you do that and you think too much about on pitch, it overcomplicates it. It's football. Ball on the grass, pass your teammates, get on the pitch, score a goal.
Sorry, I just want to add on to that because, you know, we all know Pep's style of football. You know, it's one touch, two touch, max move, right? We move the ball around. If you watch us this season, you know, obviously not the Newcastle game, but obviously the last kind of 3 or 4 months, some of these players are taking 4 or 5 touches, you know, before moving and recycling the ball. And, you know, I've said it on one of the streams a couple of weeks ago. You know, whilst this defense, whilst the confidence is gone, we need to tweak something. I know that we play out from the back. I get that, but for me, until that confidence is back, I don't want to see the defenders on the ball half as much as we have done. Because again, you know, Luke mentioned there talking about mistakes between Akanji and Stones. Whilst they're obviously low on confidence, tweak something, change something up. You know, let's get it into the midfield if we can. Stop coming out from the back for now. Let's get it into the midfield and get a couple of clean sheets under the belt. You know, I think that's been the problem. We've not been able to play our normal game because we've not had Rodri. That's also a massive factor. So you've got players all of a sudden that are being asked to do more. And these lads already do a lot anyway. You know, you're asking Gundogan, you're asking Kovacic to track back and run back, right? Kovacic wasn't brought in for that. I see Kovacic as a player who, shifts it forward. He's similar to Rodri in that way. You can get the ball and burst forward, and we've seen it a few times this season. But Gundogan, it's not the same Gundo that obviously that we let go. The quality dipped, the pace dropped when he went over to Barca, and so you can't have Gundogan and Kovacic. And I think as soon as we had Nico in, you had a lot of players around that thought, I can play my game now. I can play the game that we've been playing for the last 2-3 years. I don't necessarily have to worry as much. So that's my thought. I think obviously Rodrigo was a massive factor. But coming back to what you said as well, Patrick, it's important to be honest. That's why I'm always trying to get different fans on here, because fans are going to be the most honest. The guys that go to the games, try go to the games, have an honest opinion. That's what we want, And Pep has been liable this season, for certain games. Some of the lineups that that we brought out, that Madrid team, obviously, bringing Rico on in the end, it cost us. I asked a question in the Madrid preview, and Luke, this, Tabo, you were there. I said, who would you start, Edison or Ortega? And after a little bit of a discussion, we all went with Edison for the distribution. But again, we've got to be honest. I don't think Ortega's making those mistakes. I just don't think he is. He's not going to chest it back into the path of. Was it Vinicius? Who was it? I can't remember.
Into Brahim Diaz. It was Vinicius and Brahim Diaz.
That was it. Yeah.
Do you think it's also because the defense is bad? Like, when a team, because people have to understand, when you have a bad keeper, the defense have no confidence, right? We've seen this before. Remember Bravo? Bravo, my God. Bravo was just one shot on target goal. And you see the defense was different. Then Edison came, he was more calm, he could play the ball. Do you think that some of this is the keepers now are like, oh my God, this defense is horrible. Everything that happens now, it just comes to me. So, because we've also seen Ortega has been criticized this season by people. And I've also want to ask, especially the guys, all of you guys who go to the games, what's the mood like this time? What's the difference? Because there's people on the TV, we watch on the TV, we're looking at it and saying, I'm looking at the team, I was like, that team used to press. They don't press like this anymore. And the funny thing is, just go watch the matches that we won or we were playing seasons ago. We used to press. Now they're walking. I saw KDB walking and somebody just passed him. And I saw Gundogan trying to pull somebody's shirt and he failed and he just stood there and the guy went straight to our defense. So looking at that, what's changed? Like if you go in the stadium, you say you have a season ticket, right? Now when you go to the stadium, what is the difference? Is there a huge difference? Are you sitting there and saying, what's going on with this team? Do they look that bad? Or maybe TV is just showing a certain aspects, but when you see it live, because I've been to games where it's live, there's a difference. You see certain things and characters on teams. Because remember, there was a match where the TV just was focusing on KDB and all he was doing is complaining. And the guy in announcing says, KDB, you keep complaining, but you're not tracking back. All he was doing is complaining and putting his hands up. So has anything changed now when you're looking at it live that something doesn't seem right?
Tabo, that might be a good one for you to jump in on that.
Yeah. I mean, firstly, in regards to the Edison versus Ortega, listen, Edison should have done better for the second and third goal on Tuesday, but people forget he made very, very good saves as well. Like, I've always said, people think Edison is not better than Ortega. Like, we've given Ortega chances. Like, the Arsenal game, I don't think he should have saved any of the goals. The thing I don't like about him is he gives up, if that makes sense. Like, the Ethan, one very goal. It wasn't in the corner. He just looks at it, goal. Game over, 5-1. So, yeah. And in terms of what's changed from, this season compared to previous seasons, I don't know, talking about people are not there, but it's Rodri. As simple as that. Rodri gives our 4 players, confidence to go and press, because if they miss the press, he's there. Whereas if Kovacic is there, for example, Kovacic against 2 midfielders, it's game over. And in terms of the mood, I think we just accepted it's not really a write-off for the season, but we just have to be honest with ourselves. It's just not been good enough. Simple as that.
Yeah, I think we're so far gone now after all defeats and not winning. I think the Reds have just gone. I think they just want to write it off, but we've got some big games coming up where we have to perform. I'd start Edison against Madrid because, like Tabo said, then he made some great saves. He just absolutely stupid mistakes that don't need to be made. He needs to be made aware of that. But I think he's better than Ortega. And look what he did again at weekend, getting another assist. Like he can make a goal out of nothing, which what we probably need against Madrid. But I've got a question. The team on Wednesday, are you looking to Sunday as well? Like, would you play some big names, or are you a bit worried about Liverpool on Sunday, or are you just going to go all for it?
All for it for me. All for it, because I think that in terms of the league title, I don't really care anymore. Like I know
I'm just thinking top four, though, mate. That's
yeah. No, you're right. I think for me, it's still important as well. I'm not saying it's a write-off because Liverpool aren't good either. Liverpool aren't that good. Liverpool are better than us, but not much better than us.
Yeah.
You watch them play.
I agree with that. Yeah.
So what we got to do is, I think, if we get Madrid done early doors, well, 90 minutes rather than like extra time, then cool. But the problem is, the longer that game goes on, as we all know with Madrid, late knockout time in Champions League, they're up for it. So if we get the early goal, about level again, and we get another one, it has to be quick from us. It can't be 0-0 for like one half. Then we're dragging on, trying to get a goal, because that's when it gets like out of hand. So I would put an eye on Sunday, but Wednesday for me is the priority right now. I think I do understand it. It needs to be both need to look at that the same way as well.
Yeah, but I wanted to ask something, and this is what pisses me off. And look, I'm very jealous and envious about this. And if there's a fan out there who sits there, and I know there's some fans who are like, nobody cares about, but aren't you lads very envious? Where the hell does Madrid, no matter what team they put out, where do they get this spirit that never give up? Wouldn't you love that to just be Man City, where when Man City is done, at 90th minute, they just come with this? Because come on, man. That I watched that thing again where Riyad Mahrez scored against them.
Yeah,
we were 3-1 up, lads. 3-1 up. Yeah. We were done. They were done and dusted. They're supposed to be killed. Where in the hell does this team Madrid find this spirit? Like, does somebody give them water bottles with drugs and say, "Here you go, now get on"? Because don't you get shocked? You know what's funny though? I'm that stupid that every time I still believe that one do it. I sit there like, nah, not today, Madrid. You've been whooped 4-1. Yeah. They just make a few changes. Yeah. Your man just puts his eyebrow up. And you're like, what? And it's 5-4. You're like, no way. Like, come on. You can't
think about Real Madrid.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I said to a few of my friends, they're not the best team in the world, but they're the best moments team, if that makes sense. Like, Vinicius Jr., he's a good player, but he's the best moment player in the world, where in 2 minutes he can just do something, and then Real Madrid won the game.
That sums up Madrid, though, doesn't it?
Bellingham,
Bellingham. Like England was struggling in the Euros against Slovenia or whatever. Bicycle goal.
Oh, so you're saying they sign players that are just? You're right, though. Makes sense. Most of this.
I wouldn't say they sign them as moments player, but they just turn into that. Like Rodrigo. Like
it's not just a sign. It's the thing is, it's not just a signing because they've done it. They've done it for as long as I can remember. It's not
different players. Yeah.
Do you know what it is? It's the experience that comes with winning. What are they? What is it? Is it 14 now they're on? I think.
Yeah.
They've won 14 Champions Leagues and they've won it in spectacular fashion.
That's embarrassing.
It is. It's crazy. But if you look at the Man City that have now won the Champions League. Prior to that, we were building. But if you look at the team, back when Vincent Kompany was in the team, David Silva, Sergio Aguero, on paper that's still a fantastic team, but it was never good enough to go that extra mile. It was never good enough to win the Champions League, and so we went to that next level and we were building, and we've won it now, and it changes the mindset because the pressure of winning it, the pressure of winning the first one is gone. Now we need to build. Now we need to build. So, I think if you're a team that's done that 14 times, it kind of ingrains in the culture of the club, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They can look at previous performances, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and what'll happen is they'll still have players that were in that squad that maybe did the comeback, and they can pass that on to the newer players. So I think it's just Real Madrid, and I think it's just the experience from winning so many Champions Leagues and having so many comebacks. Same with Liverpool. Liverpool are known for it, aren't they? Having miraculous comebacks because they've done it so many times now. Again,
but it's gone now, isn't it? The Anfield thing is gone, and I'm laughing every time it's gone because it used to be magic. Remember in the Champions League, you go to Anfield, you get slapped.
Yeah, I'll never forget when we slapped them, didn't we? Was it 4-0, 4-1?
Oh, I love that.
Oh, mate, honestly. And then it was the crowd weren't there. It's the COVID season. It doesn't really count. Okay, well, neither does your Prem. So it doesn't count. The Prem don't count as far as I'm concerned. Should have been a void season that. So I want to discuss the starting 11. Would it be how similar to the Newcastle squad would you keep it? Is there any players or positions that you'd maybe look at tweaking?
It's maybe harsh on people like Kusanov
instead of Rico, for example.
I think he will do that.
He won't do
But then,
that.
like, for example, you would assume that Ruben Diaz comes in and starts straight away. So that's why you think there'd be a change there.
Yeah.
And then De Bruyne didn't play 1 minute on Saturday. So you suggest he's going to start. And like we said, we all think Bernardo Silva's going to start. So, I mean, I wouldn't start either.
I'd start De Bruyne.
No.
No.
Off the bench.
It's not crazy. I wouldn't start Mamouche either.
Impact.
Sorry, Phil Foden, I wouldn't start.
Impact.
I would start.
Yeah, I said this.
Fabinho on the right. Yeah. I placed Fabinho on the right. Doku on the left. Mamouche behind Haaland.
Yeah.
So go for it.
Yeah.
I was having this there was a City fan who was talking, saying, De Bruyne's a big game player. He's undroppable. He has to start this game. And again, we're thinking of the De Bruyne of 2, 3, 4 years ago. It's not the same De Bruyne. He can't play 90 minutes. Cannot play 90 minutes.
It's hard.
You see him blowing 60 minutes in, red raw, legs have gone. But I think if let's say we level the game, okay, we're going into that final 65, 70 minutes. You bring him on then because he is a big game player. He's got that magic.
Yeah, but Pep's the type of guy though where they'll bring him on like the 80th minute, 85th minute, and not give him enough time.
You don't think?
I wouldn't start him, but if we get that early goal, I'll probably bring him on at half time, 50, 55 minutes.
Yeah.
Give him enough time to get into the game, and then he will make one of them passes that'll just probably let us win it. But you're right, I wouldn't start him either.
No.
Would you start?
Why wouldn't you start Foden? Somebody said they wouldn't start Foden. I think you would start Foden.
I just think Phil Foden is a very good technical player, but on Wednesday I don't want to see things that are good on the eye. I want to see goals. I want to see assists, and I think Mamouche would be more of a threat than Phil Foden personally.
Wait, are you not putting Foden as a 10 though?
No, I'll put Mamouche in the 10.
Oh
Because
wow.
that's where he was best at for at Eintracht Frankfurt. And I know he played on the left on Saturday, but he drifted behind Haaland. He was on paper he was on the left, but if you look at the actual game, he played.
Well, I think that's a good talking point actually. What does that mean for Phil then? Because Phil's wasted on the wing. He'll do the occasional dribble. Might get a penalty here and there, but he's wasted on the wing. He's much better in the middle. But if we're already saying no, you got to play Marmouche. What long term? What happens with Phil then? Because it was only last season he was one of our best players.
Especially with Verts linked today as well, isn't it? Verts as well.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's Amos Echeverry as well. It's I think for me, right? Like I'm still think that Phil still is the same player in there, but this season he's shown signs of him being back to his best. I think it's a game where he doesn't do anything. It's like it's too hot and cold with Phil this season. I get he's had a lot going on behind the scenes from what I've been hearing, but I don't know what it is particularly. But obviously I know it's something going on with him. But the problem is, as understandable, but you're still a professional footballer playing football games.
Yeah.
You have a level to maintain.
Hmm.
You got and in football, if you keep waiting around, and sort of hoping that eventually I'll get back to it, someone will take your place. This team, like Mamouche, will do that as well. So he has to. If Phil's going to get his place back, he has to start stepping up every game now. He has to. I love him, but he's got. I don't care who you are, Haaland, De Bruyne, whoever. You got every game's massive. If the team. So
yeah. No, I agree with that. I think for me, I throw the kitchen sink at it. I want Doku and Savio to start that game. Savio is obviously, in some absolutely scintillating form. Historically as well, people laugh at me because I always defend Doku. But in some of the big games where we've struggled, I remember in that Barca game last season, when he came on, he absolutely skinned, who was it? Was it Dani Carvajal? Sorry, not Barca. It was Madrid, wasn't it? He skinned Dani Carvajal, 3 or 4 or 5 times, spun him. The United game where we had the hangover and obviously we went on to lose. Again, he came on, changed the game, went in and got the goal. So I think Doku's got to start. Savio's got to start. Obviously Haaland up top. Obviously Nico, Marmouche has got to start. I think the only thing for me is that I think the big contentious point is, does he stick with Rico? Because Rico did have a good performance against Newcastle.
He did.
Does he stick with him, or maybe does he move Kusanov onto the right and obviously take Rico out the team?
That's a hard one, that, because I like Kusanov, but putting him at right back against Ney Junior, that's a real. I'm not saying he can't do it, but it's a massive. Because if he gets that wrong, that could end the game early on.
Yeah,
we got to get right back and centre midfielder, and DM as well, has to be spotted from Pep.
Yeah,
if it's wrong,
do you guys not think Stones could start there?
Well, right back.
Yeah,
speed though.
Speed and Aki.
He'll be done for speed though.
Yeah, the speed.
But
that's the issue.
Yeah, I mean, but like he's quicker than Kusanov. He's quicker than Rico Lewis. So like,
do you think he's quicker than Kusanov?
Of course he is.
You're throwing. You didn't tell us that John Stones is quicker. John Stones is not even quicker than Ruben Diaz.
No. Listen, I'm not saying John Stones is quicker, but I'm saying like that's like me saying, Christopher is quicker than Mendy. He's just skin him all game. Football doesn't work like that.
Yeah,
like John Stones is a clever player. He's a very sound player. That's why I would personally play him right back.
It works with Vinny. Vinny doesn't care.
Yeah.
You're smart. Vinny
will... on Tuesday, Rico Lewis played second half against Vinicius Jr. Vinicius Jr. is way quicker than him. Apart from the third goal, did Vinicius Jr. do anything against Rico Lewis? No, he didn't.
He could bust him a couple of times, but I think remember with Rico, he's smaller compared to Vinny, isn't he? Yeah. So and he's not as fast, but. I've always did it right against him, apart from the first goal. But I still wouldn't play him on Wednesday, though. I wouldn't, because especially at the Bernabéu as well, from the start, against that crowd roaring against you.
Yeah,
I'm not saying he can't. I'm not saying he can't do it, Rico. He has proven me wrong before, but this game is huge. It's a whole different game, whole different ball game. So yeah, he has to get it right.
I don't think Rico's got the pace or the physicality to go up against Vinny. So I'd put Kusanov in there and just keep him on him and just hope, like what Luke said, you get it right. You don't fuck up. Just let him know you're there straight away.
Yeah, I think that's
just stay on him. Don't give him a yard, because he's one of the fastest players in the world, isn't it? Like, I don't think any of our team's going to keep up with him. Walker. But
the only thing that I'd worry about. The only thing that I'd worry about there, sorry to cut you off, Bowie, but
no, you're right, mate.
Is I can see a rash challenge. From Kusanov.
That's why. That's why I want to play him.
But I think I'd rather him there than Lewis, because Lewis hasn't got the physicality of it either. Whereas Kusanov has.
Who's referee for this game? You don't know yet. Is it the same guy as last week?
I'm not sure.
If it's him, then we're screwed. Because that guy, Madrid, man, there's all something going on there.
They're never in our favour anyway, so just assume the worst anyway.
They hate City, don't they? UEFA.
Yeah, they do.
Right, okay, cool. So let's just we'll finish off. We'll do match predictions. Patrick, I'm going to start with you, mate. What do you think?
I don't know. Let me be honest. I gave up this game. I said, just play people who are younger and focus on Liverpool. But the thing is, like, there's a guy who wrote an article saying if City had Nico in the Madrid game at home, City could have not conceded those City goals because Nico
Great.
would have been pointing where the ball has to go, or we could have, if you can see in the recent game, he could have been receiving the ball better, or even maybe shouting, because he was shouting at Edison in the defense, if you look at him. So he was like, I don't think City could have considered those City goals, and I think Madrid could have been in trouble. Thinking about it, if he plays Nico, even he plays Nico next to Gundogan in this Madrid away and plays KDB, and Gundogan has to just do what he's supposed to do from back in the days, I see as if City will give Madrid a bit of a fight. But it's the fact that how many goals are you supposed to score against this Madrid side, especially at home, where the fans will start at a certain minute, the fans will start pushing them and they'll start these miracles and they'll bench in. And the thing about Madrid is they can bench in a nobody. Do you remember Geluso? Geluso, is it Jesulu or Jesu, whatever, Geluso, whatever his name is, was not a striker that everybody, okay, we knew that he was cold, but he wasn't that cold. Yeah. He came in the game and rescued them within 2 minutes in a Madrid game. He just came in with his big jersey number, rescued Madrid just because the fans were backing you. So I think unless City go full on from, as Luke said, you don't care anymore, which I wish they would do, and just say, you know what, forget there's 1%. Pepper said there's 1% you're going through. Let's just play them. I think they can actually cause Madrid trouble. I have seen Barcelona beat this Madrid team 5-1, and they had better players. So my prediction, I don't know. I have a feeling Madrid will look for a draw and just counter-attack us, or look to pack the bus, frustrate us, and then hope that they do their magic at the end. So, but the City fan in me says 3-1 to City.
We'll take that, mate. We'll take that.
Yeah. The City fan in me says
3-1.
I think with Nico in this team, and ADB knowing that he doesn't, because I know he's going to play. I know Bernardo Silva is going to play. All these players knowing that Nico is here, we don't have to be concerned with defending. We might actually hurt them, but that's as long as Mamouche and Haaland play together.
Yeah.
Okay, Luke.
Do you know what's mad about this game, right? It's a game to get into the last 16. It's not enough to a final. It's like a playoff. All this stress for a playoff game. Madness. Honestly, I'm gonna back us here. I have a funny feeling that as long as we play the right team here, we can get a win. But we can't make errors. Any errors, it's over. It's got to be simple. Game management. Do what you need to do at the right time. I'll go 3-1 as well, but it's got to be the right team. It's got to be the right team.
Bowie?
Yeah, I definitely think they're going to bag. But yeah, I'm going to go 3-1. I think as well. I just think after the win we got against Newcastle, I think we're going to go into this buzzing. And like Lewis said, just go at them. Just getting out to lose, have you? So yeah, 3-1 City.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I agree that I think the pressure's on them really, actually, because again, a lot of our fan base are kind of resigned this season, haven't they? I think everyone's kind of focused on that FA Cup run, aren't they? But no, I agree. I'm going to say 3-1 as well. I think it'll be 3-1. I think we will concede. It'd be crazy if we didn't, to be honest with you. But I think with the defence shored up, we don't make those same mistakes. And there's no reason we can't at least score 2, but I think we'll have more chances in that game, and especially off the back of that result that they had. So yeah, 3-1. Tabo?
Lads, I'm gonna be the very bad news. I think we lose the game 2-1. Sorry, I thought you were gonna say like draw or something. But yeah, I think we lose the game 2-1 because I don't think Pep will play the team that we all want. And even if we like 1-0 up, something's gonna happen at that stadium. Like some really nasty is gonna happen. They just scored 2 goals in like 5 minutes. So I think we lose the game 2-1.
Yeah, he's right though. He's right.
Yeah. You know what? He probably is right. He probably is. I mean, me and Bowie are there. We'll be there on Wednesday. So I'm just praying that we go all out. We don't get battered. So it's
But
probably more just blind faith, blind hope, really. Than
yeah, but you know the weakness of this Madrid team. There's a weakness in this Madrid team. That's the thing is, they depend on their magic, or we will hit you at the end. That's why I wish these players have the same mentality they had with the 4-0 one, the 4-0 game. Even they had that mentality when we did 4-3. I think it's just that we also made defensive mistakes. Remember that time when we started spanking them from 5 seconds?
De
Where De
Bruyne
Bruyne already had it. Do you see how rattled they were? They were shocked. They were talking to each other, saying, what's going on? And it's our mistakes. Zinchenko mistake. A few mistakes by Diaz with the pen. Remember, he did the pen. So Madrid, as soon as you hit them at the beginning, and let's say, for instance, we hit them 3-0 at the beginning, and they still think, they've got the magic, but you still continue going after them. I think they're more shocked that way, because I have looked at teams where teams have gone at them. Like Barcelona, the 5-1, oh my God, Barcelona did not leave them. And the thing about Vini, Mbappe, and Rodrigo, they don't track back. So they were leaving a gap between the midfield and thing. The same way they did at the Etihad. Even their coach was pushing Mbappe and them. It's just that if you let them have opportunities or silly mistakes in spaces. So I think if City just go full on, I know it's not your stadium, go full on, silence them and just keep going at them. It doesn't matter if you leave a high line, just keep going at them. I think they can be good at, and I've seen them crumble before. But the thing is, you have to put them down. I'm talking about a 4-0 at 87 minutes. If you think a 3-0 is putting them down, you're joking. These guys will come back. But I think as soon as you beat them, they give up. I've seen them give up before, but it takes a lot for them to give up, to be honest. And that's the only thing.
Yeah. Well, let's hope they do. Let's hope they do give up. I'd love that. Give up 5 minutes in. That would be preferable, wouldn't it? That'd be nice. Bellingham loses his head, gets sent off. You know, we've seen that actually. That could happen. You know, their record this year for red cards has not been great. You know, Vinicius Junior, just getting it in, wind him up, getting his hair.
Yeah.
Haaland on him, man.
Yeah.
Wind him up, man. You know, there's a bit of bite, there's a bit of rattle there. I'd love Nico to be getting in his ear, get them, you know, just rattle them, get in their heads, push them, you know, and they will make mistakes. They will make mistakes. Right, but just before we wrap it, just before we finish completely, NSQ here with Madrid, Liverpool, and Spurs coming up. What are your guys' predictions for the 3 games? Do you see 3 wins? No. I think you've just got to be honest there.
Proper Blues there, aren't we?
No.
Yeah. No, you've got to be honest. You know, like I said, the purpose of this channel is not to make anyone feel give anyone false hope. You've got to be honest. I think we'll see a better performances against those teams, especially Liverpool, and that's all I ask for. I don't think we will beat Liverpool, to be honest with you. Spurs, definitely. I think we'll batter Spurs, to be honest with you.
You can't beat Spurs twice.
Yeah. We ain't losing that game. We always lose against them.
No, we're not losing that one. I think we'll give them a good hiding. I've been saying that for the past few weeks. They will not have forgotten that result, honestly. And, you know, we're going to end up getting Ange sacked. Are you guys happy with City's Jan transfer window, and what would you have done differently if not? I think we're all pretty happy, aren't we?
Back would be nice, but I get it's not always possible to get everything. But we got 4 players in, that was fine. We got what we needed.
I think Nico was the big one, wasn't it? Nico was
Definitely.
Yeah. Nico was a big one. I think obviously Marmouche as well. But, you know, some of these younger players, you know, the young Brazilian lad, my only worry with him is he's literally stick thin. And obviously he's coming to a league that's extremely physical. So I think he's going to have to bulk up a little bit. But I think Kusanov, you know, is going to fit right in straight away and only get better. So, yeah, happy overall.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you all very much for joining the stream. It's been absolutely fantastic. I think we've covered everything there, and you know, we've touched all base. We all got our match predictions in. Tabo let us down, didn't he? Hey, well, that 2-1.
Yeah.
Sorry, lads. Sorry, lads.
If it's 2-1 now, you're never coming back on this channel. I'm telling you, chances like that. Awesome. Thank you very much, guys.